people are almost mad. They're like, how come I didn't think of that?
That's David describing the reaction when he told people about his rental business. And honestly, I get it. Because once you hear this idea, you're going to wonder why it isn't everywhere. David rents moving totes. The big plastic ones with the interlocking lids. No cardboard, no tape, no mess. You rent them, you move, you return them. Simple. And it turns out there's real money in them. In this episode, David walks us through how a house move and a dislike of cardboard boxes turned into a growing rental business. We talk about the very first rental, a guy moving a 180-gallon fish tank full of live coral, and the corporate order that forced them to scramble for 40 dollies. And how they're setting at 61% utilization with rentals booked weeks out. There's a lot of practical stuff here too. How they priced it, how they store and clean 380 totes out of their garage, and how they use premium cookies instead of paid ads. This is episode 5 of Rent It Out Podcast, the Rental Side Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Cal Hardage. For 10 seconds about my business, I am considering adding totes to my rental business. I think it pairs well with my enclosed trailer. I haven't tested the market and I haven't purchased them yet, but I've thought about it. I've checked into pricing, but I haven't convinced my wife yet. Let's talk to David. David, we want to welcome you to the Rent It Out Podcast. To get started today, can you introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's David Stillson. I'm a multipreneur who has crazy ideas to start businesses and side hustles, and particularly those that are in the rental niche. But I guess niche rentals would be a good way to put it.
Very good, niche rentals. So I want you to think back, and I know today we're going to talk about totes, but I want you to think back to the first time you rented one out. Tell us about that opportunity, that time, and how it went.
Yeah, renting a tote.
Yes.
Yeah, so to kind of lead into it a little bit, we had been running an RV rental business, and we decided that we needed more space, so we were going to move. And because we needed property, we live in a HOA neighborhood, cul-de-sac. It's kind of frowned upon per HOA rules to have campers in your driveway all the time. So we haven't been like notified or anything, but we're trying to play nice. So we're like, let's move. We put our house on the market. I started searching for boxes, and I hate cardboard. I hate cardboard boxes. I hate everything about collecting them, paying for them, tape, they break, they come open on you. And so I was just searching, like, is there, a wholesaler I could go through to get them cheap? And then I kind of stumbled on the idea of renting totes, and I was like, okay. And so, like one does who has a disease of starting businesses, I start talking to ChatGPT, and I'm like, okay, like what would, if I bought the yellow top lid totes and, they're what, $7 a piece, how many would I have to rent out? How often? Do some research of other, there's businesses in like big cities near me. Go scrape their pricing. Tell me how much I would have to rent it out and how much money I could make doing this. And ChatGPT is very, I don't want to put this, it doesn't really like tell you the bad stuff. It's always like, oh yeah, this is a wonderful idea.
That's the part I hate about ChatGPT. You're the smartest person ever, and I love this idea.
Yeah.
This is how you do it. I tell it to give me the cold shower test. Tell me everything that can go wrong.
Yeah. So it crunched some numbers, and it was like, basically, if you rent these totes out like two or three times, you will pay for the tote. The COGS is really low for what you can charge to rent it. I'm like, okay. And then as I did research, I looked on Marketplace, and people sell totes because they get them. I don't know how they get them. I think maybe retailers like offload totes when they've kind of expired their lifespan. So people were just selling like pallets of these things, but they're a smaller size than what we ended up going with. So I found a random YouTube video of a guy who's like, I run a tote rental business and these are my suppliers. And he like flashed the names of the suppliers in the video. And I'm like, screenshot. And then I went and called the suppliers. So we ended up, so instead of buying a $7 tote from Home Depot with like the black industrial with the yellow lids, we decided to go with actual logistics totes with like interlocking lids. Oh, yes. They're like, after shipping and everything, if you buy them by a pallet load, they're about $16 a tote. So for totes and dollies, for about $2,000 or so, we had all the totes we would need to move our own house, and we had inventory to start renting them. And so, what we did was we put up marketplace posts and started a really basic website with a sign up form, and just started telling people we're a tote rental business, right? Like we were just very confident, like, we do this now. We have tons of inventory.
Right. So jumping back, you jumped in and bought them and used them and bought too many because you thought there's this opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're like, worst case, because the stage we were in was we had to stage our house. So we didn't need all 120 totes from the initial buy. We needed like 20 of them to like kind of declutter, put stuff in storage. So that's what we did. We took some stock off the top, kind of pseudo packed up the stuff we didn't use all the time, depersonalized the house, all the stuff the staging, person told us to do, which is actually another great use case for renting totes.
Oh, yes.
Is to like put your stuff kind of temporarily away. And then, we just
David, I'm going to jump in there because the people who are doing Airbnb in their own house that they go away for a little bit, these totes would be great for them to rent, because obviously we all need more business, but then they put it away, Airbnb their house while they're gone on vacation, then they pull it all out and it's back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great idea. There's so many use cases. Some of them we didn't even consider. One guy, I think may have been our second rental. He's like, hey, I just bought a 180-gallon fish tank off a guy, and I need to move the coral and the stuff. Can I rent your totes? And I'm like, okay, they're waterproof. They hold water. That should work. So he rented like 10 totes to move all of the live coral and all the things. And I was like, back to ChatGPT, I'm like, how do I not kill all this guy's fish? Like, how do we treat these totes so that they don't poison?
Yes. So you all got the totes. You were staging your house. How'd it go?
Yeah, it was quiet for a while. It was one of those, you get a lot of advice online about prove demand before you sell it before you have it. And we didn't have anybody reaching out, but we were heading into winter, and I don't know, I just kind of had like this faith, like this blind faith that like, oh, somebody's gonna use this. They just need to know about it, because that's the thing with this business, is people don't know it's a thing.
Right.
It's not ubiquitous. You don't go to like, oh, I'll rent totes for my move yet. We're changing that.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Right. But so it was kind of an awareness thing of just like, so we took a meeting with our Real Producers magazine manager here in Fort Wayne, took out an ad in that magazine, and then started going to networking events, and just kind of started like, I guess, like getting the word out, seeding the idea. Building some awareness. So the fish tank guy was our first rental.
Oh, so right off the bat, you got a very unique use case that wasn't on your radar.
Yeah. Yep. And then Nikki had met a friend at one of her networking. She was going to different BNI groups, and she connected with somebody who her sister was moving and only needed like 10 totes. So we had a couple quick, like heavily discounted, not the fish guy, but like some like use case where we could get some photos, and it's like, hey, we'll give you the totes like dirt cheap. Can we show up on move day and take pictures and get content?
Oh, excellent.
Because we have no like in use photos of these things besides us just like at our own house, packing up, pretending to pack. So yeah, it was about getting content and getting stuff that we could start to post so that people could see it was real. Because when I first started posting about it, I was using a lot of AI generated imagery, and people kind of have a sense for that now. We're like, oh, this is fake. Like, even though the thing you're doing is real, they know it's an AI image, so they're like, the business must be fake. They
discount it.
Yeah.
So with that first rental, you said renting to the aquarium guy was your first rental. You researched it. You're like, I've got to keep these living organisms alive. And then the totes go out. Were you nervous when the totes went out? What was your feeling at that time?
No, we weren't really nervous because we had been renting RVs up to this point. And so there's a much higher level of stress when you rent out an RV versus a stack of totes.
True.
And maybe it's hard to describe, but because people, in our community, they're like, well, do you take pictures of the totes and do you get a security deposit? I'm like, no, they're plastic boxes. Like worst case, they destroy one and I'm out $16, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I wasn't nervous. Is that it?
Yeah. Were you concerned about his fish, or had you researched that enough to know his coral and fish were going to be okay?
We weren't concerned. We had done some research, and basically, as long as you clean out the totes, with a bleach solution and let them dry, then you're good to go, essentially. So.
Oh, very good. So when you think about these rentals, and you made that first rental with the aquarium guy and then a couple others, is that the point you're like, this can work?
I think when we started telling people about it and the reaction was over the top positive, even before we were selling totes, it was like, oh, that's a genius idea. People are almost mad. They're like, how come I didn't think of that?
Right.
Yeah, that's when we knew. And then I think it was shortly after that, we randomly got a large corporate commercial move. I think that's the moment we knew. That was looking here in our history, that was our fourth rental.
Oh, yes. How many totes did they take? How big was that?
So it was a electric supply house, and they needed 150 totes and 40 dollies.
Did you have that much?
No, not at all. We had 5 dollies.
Oh, okay.
And they're $60 a piece, but you can get them for $40 a piece if you buy a pallet of 30. So we were like, all right, we obviously need to upcharge for additional dollies. That's where we had to work out pricing, what would be worth it to rent out an additional dolly. So that's when because we had no concept of charging for because our business model was you get a free dolly with your rental, thinking,
Oh, yes.
And that's how the business evolves. You don't have to plan for every single situation necessarily out of the gate. And that's probably advice for people that want to start rental businesses is put out your offer, and then people will mold your business for you in a lot of ways, because they'll call you and they'll ask you some of the weirdest things you've ever heard. And you'll go, huh, I bet somebody else would probably want this. Let's build, a model around this and make it so that not every order is custom, but we can have some flexibility in how we do our pricing and things like that.
Right. How did you handle that upcharge and doing that for those extra dollies? And so getting those in hand, did you have the cash in hand to go get them? Go get extra totes?
So we were fortunate that we could, through our business bank account, we could take some financing through the bank. So shout out to Novo. I'm not sponsored in any way by them, but they have a feature that lets you basically seed funds in your checking account.
Oh, yes.
So kind of like a cash flow thing. Relatively low interest rate, but in fast, you pay it off in it's a 6-month term.
Oh, nice.
But it gives you it's a short-term loan basically so we have a little bit of buffer there. So yeah, we had to dip into that to pull it off. And we just basically chalked it up to, okay, we've had demand up to this amount so far, so we'll basically buy the inventory that we need for that. And yeah, we have faith that future rentals will help us pay that down quickly. And that's the rule. Like when we sell out or oversell, that's when we buy additional inventory.
So what kind of inventory are you carrying now?
So now we're up to 380 totes and 46 dollies.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think we have more. I think we have 49 dollies now.
During your time of doing this, how many totes have gotten broke or didn't come back to you?
We haven't lost any so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah. People have been great renters.
Oh,
so we've been fortunate. I'm sure it's going to happen. Like the law of averages. Life happens, stuff happens.
Right. It will. But like today, I've got a trailer rented out. Something happens to that trailer, that's a pretty big hit. Something happens to a tote or 2 totes or 5 totes, you're still not into a great amount of money.
Right.
Yeah, or a great amount of loss.
Yep. And we have enough inventory that we can fill the next rental. If the camper comes back damaged or the trailer comes back damaged, you've got downtime. And what if you have a rental right away?
Yes. Makes a big difference there. In the beginning, you decided to go with these totes that were a little bit bigger than you had found on Facebook Marketplace that people were selling some of. Why did you choose that specific tote to go with?
It was actually the recommendation of our supplier, because we called them like, hey, we're thinking about starting this tote rental business. We see other companies, and they were like, well, this is the size that the industry of rentals typically uses. The smaller ones are generally more for like retail inventory stocking. Like you'll see them at Walgreens. I actually saw the same brand totes we use over at AutoZone, but they were the smaller that they use for like, that they use in their logistics operations for inventory fulfillment. But yeah, she's like, you want the bigger ones. And then those are the ones that fit the dollies that we have.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was their suggestion. They were like, this is what everybody's using. I'm like, okay.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Did you go with a specific color or how did you decide that?
Yeah, we're all gray because the warehouse that's near us stocks all gray totes all the time.
Perfect.
So, we're just gonna stick with gray. They have all the other colors at their Georgia warehouse. They've got like red, green, blue, whatever. But we're just gonna stick with gray, and we're gonna do all of our branding and marketing materials around that gray as one of our pivotal, core colors.
As a sidebar, and I mentioned this earlier, I've looked into the totes to go with my trailers, and they don't have any local to me, so it's got to be shipped here. So I looked at the colors. I really wanted orange because that's kind of the branding color I use for my trailers and for this rented out. They don't have orange, but that may be a good thing because orange may be more associated with hazard stuff or something. So maybe there's a good reason they don't.
Yeah. Gray is a good neutral color that pairs well with orange, though.
It does. Exactly.
Yeah. And you can brand, like we use waterproof vinyl stickers.
Oh, yes.
On the sides for the branding.
So do you put branding on every tote?
Yeah, every tote gets a sticker and dollies. And it has a QR code on it too it goes to our website and has our phone number nice and big in case people have questions or.
With the totes renting out, what's the average size of a rental?
So I actually just ran these numbers recently because somebody in our community asked about it, and I'm going to pull up that response because it's all laid out. All right, so average rental amount is about $180. We average about 39 totes per rental, and our average duration is 23 days or 3.5 weeks.
Okay. So when you have a set price, someone sees it, is that for X number of totes for X number of days? And that typically handles a 1,000 square foot house?
Yeah, so we break it up by bedroom count.
Oh, okay.
And we built like packages, which is how a lot of like if you go on Home Depot and you want to buy a moving box rental kit, they kind of merchandise it
Oh,
the same way. They're like, this is a 3-bedroom house kit. This is a 4-bedroom house kit. So, and I had found some of the other tote rental businesses out there do the same thing. So we kind of, we price it basically, essentially what it boils down to is it's $5 per tote per 2 weeks.
oh, okay.
But for each additional 2 weeks, it drops in half. So it's $2.50 per tote for every 2 weeks after that. So now you're thinking, okay, that's a lot of mental math to try to make people figure out. So we're like, well, a big lesson I learned in my e-commerce days is bundle pricing. Make it dead simple.
Oh, yes.
Bundle pricing, have tiers. Don't make them do the math. If they ask, you can break it down, because sometimes we get people that want a custom amount. So it's pretty easy for us to do custom quotes because the math is pretty simple. But don't make people. That was the one thing when I started looking on Marketplace at other people doing this, they're like, yeah, it's $2 a tote per day per whatever, and it's like, dude, I'm breaking out the calculator right now to figure out, like,
Right.
I don't even know how many totes I need, and you're telling me tote price. Make it easy for your customers.
That's excellent advice there. Yeah. You mentioned Marketplace a few times, and it sounds like those first customers you got were through Marketplace. Is that the main marketing channel you have, or how are you getting the word out to people?
Yeah, so at this point, I think it's pretty evenly divided across 3 channels that we've got leads coming in through. Facebook, and I'll just group like social media in general is one.
Yes.
So whether that's Marketplace or people see posts on Facebook, we're actually getting referrals from that. The in-person networking is huge. So my wife goes to all manner of BNI groups. We joined our local apartment association, so she's going to their events and she's trying to get in contact with building managers, real estate agents, Chamber of Commerce events. There's specialized networking groups for women in business. So she's been going to all of the women entrepreneurship support organization groups, getting the word out. So that's like the second channel. Third has actually been direct rentals on the website just from SEO. So people are actually finding us through Google search, Google business profile, and just booking online. One guy even said, I couldn't actually find you Googling for tote rental, which was weird because I'm like, I got tote rental all over the website, but we'll work on that. He's like, I actually had to ask ChatGPT for a tote rental place, and you guys were actually in the results.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, so AI optimization, AI search optimization is starting to work, but we've got more to do there. So yeah, those 3 channels are kind of our biggest, and it's pretty evenly split.
With your direct and with your social media, are you running any paid ads?
No, we started to do that, but I wasn't getting a lot of traction with that. So we just decided to go more manual, in person, high touch, referral based marketing. And some of that's paid off. Like, we met a guy named Tony. He actually is the head of Coldwell Banker in our area. And so he oversees 3 offices. And so he liked it so much. He's like, you got to come present at our team meetings. So Nikki got to go to 3 different offices when they had team meetings and actually present to the group and say, hey, I'm Nikki. Here's what we do. We brought donuts. Like, we do a lot. We spend a lot. That's probably, we don't do paid ads, but we do paid cookies and donuts. So I don't know, is that considered paid ads?
Anytime someone wants to buy me donuts, I'm there.
Right. What's the ROI on a donut? Or what's the ROAS
right
on a donut?
Yeah. It's actually probably pretty good because donuts can be fairly cheap. I don't know where you buy them. Some places are outrageously expensive and some are cheap.
So we're pretty intentional. Like, we have a bougie cookie establishment here in Fort Wayne called Cookie Cottage.
Oh, yes.
And they make, like, I don't know even how to describe these, but they're Fort Wayne famous. They're thick. They're almost like cakes, but they're like, they have special toppings. They're artisanal. They're not your normal cookie.
A premium cookie.
They're expensive. They're not cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and people know it. So when we show up to an office and we're like, "Hey, we brought you Cookie Cottage," it's like, no, we brought you Cookie Cottage. Like, we didn't stop by the grocery store on the way here and grab like a $3.95 special. We spent some money. So,
and when you spend that kind of money, you want them to know this is a premium product. This is not just your run of the mill grocery store one.
Correct. Yeah, and they know it. So I think it helps us stand apart. We don't really have competition, but we just want to set a good first impression. Like we're a legitimate thing. We're serious. We want to treat you well. We want to treat your customers well. We want to be a good resource for you. So
yes. And David, I'd like to dive more into that, but as we talked about Nikki coming on, so I'm going to not dive into it today, so she can dive into that later on. When you think back to your rentals, what's a rental that's gone wrong for you?
Oh, well, knock on wood, for totes, we haven't had a rental that's necessarily gone wrong.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, they've all been pretty smooth. I can't think of any in totes. Or even in the RV rentals, the worst we've had is a little bit of damage from a really large group at the Indy 500.
Oh,
but that's different animal there.
Right. As you think back through your tote rentals, is there something you wish you'd bought more of or done different throughout the process or early in the process?
I think so. I think we've kind of been doing everything, maybe not to the letter, because there's not really a guidebook for starting any business, right? You're kind of figuring a lot of stuff out on your own. But something we did right was we reached out to people for mentorship and guidance, whether that was, entrepreneurial organizations. We have one here in our town called the Small Business Development Center. It's funded by the state of Indiana. They're over at, IUP, Indiana University, Purdue. They're a free thing. Like they'll help you craft your business plan and they'll help you with SBA financing if you need that or want that. They help you with marketing. They connect you to people. So like reaching out and getting plugged in from a resources standpoint, I think has been pivotal for us. Not trying to like do it alone, but reach out and say, hey, you can get a lot done if you just start telling people, hey, we're doing this thing and we're trying to figure it out. You'll be amazed how much help and support you can get.
Who did you reach out to start those conversations or find out where to go?
Yeah. So a lot of that was, like I mentioned, the networking events Nikki was going to, she would just say, hey, we're this new thing. We just started up, and like people would offer it up. They're like, hey, have you talked to SBDC? Have you talked to, we have this Northern Indiana incubator thing over here. You should talk to so-and-so. I'll send an email. Like people just offer it up. Once they know you're doing this, they start to plug you in.
I think you touched on something there. I feel like anytime I talk to people, whether they're starting a small business or if there's someone supporting a small business, people want you to be successful at it.
Yeah. 100%. And that's that's a weird thing for me because I don't know where this comes from, but there's this like societal thing. And I know we're getting like really philosophical here, but you're always taught that, or I guess told, or maybe you hear it along the way that like people will pull you down, right? They don't want to see you succeed. People will naysay, and this probably does happen to people where like, you're like, I want to start a business. I'm like, oh no, you'll never succeed at that. You get a job and get a stable, whatever. And that happened a lot for like my music stuff, when you want to go be a band and go on the road, and like people like, you should get a real job. And maybe that's where this comes from me, is like that carries over into like, well, I'm starting this business and and you're putting yourself out there and you're being vulnerable and you're expecting someone to be like, have you thought of right? But that hasn't happened for us. People have been oddly supportive.
Right. I find people being very supportive. Now, does that mean there's not any naysayers? Occasionally there'll still be someone, but yeah, it's not that big a deal.
about who you surround yourself with, I think. Like who you keep in your circles. You keep positive people around you. You look for people who are doing better than you, and you try to like, hey, I want you to mentor me. I want, to be in your circles.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think just being around positive people is just so important. But switching gears a little bit with the tote rentals, or back to tote rentals, the logistics of it. You've got 380 totes. Are those in a spare bedroom at your house? Do you deliver to your customers? How does that work?
So we have them in our garage, and they all fit somehow. We've had to put stuff in storage to make room. But the deliveries are pretty simple. We have a pickup truck, so we have a little bit of an advantage. We can fit 20 or so totes with a tonneau cover on the bed of the truck closed.
Oh, okay.
So if it's raining or snowing or whatever, we can get you 20 totes all day long. If you need more, we can figure it out with tarps and things. Once it gets above 40 totes, we'll rent like a U-Haul enclosed trailer for the delivery, which is what we, or if it's a large rental like the commercial one I mentioned earlier, we just rented a box truck from Penske. Got a good deal. And that was another thing. Don't be afraid to call. Well, don't call U-Haul, but like call Penske and be like, hey, we're a business, and we, they'll give you better pricing than they'll give people off the street for just regular residential moves. But yeah, so truck rentals, trailers.
Yeah. Very good. And when you get those totes back, how are you cleaning them?
Yeah, so Nikki has a process. She uses a air compressor, blows out any debris, and then she has like basically a bleach water solution. She just wipes them down and makes sure they're sanitized. We've only had a couple where there's some kind of oil or, kitchen grease or something from an appliance, spilled. And so you have to do a little bit more of a scrub, but so far it's been a pretty easy process.
Yeah. Has that been something you've done the whole time, or did you come across that through your journey?
I think we just sort of invented it through our journey.
Oh, yes.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, we have dirty totes. How do we clean them? Well, she tried wiping them out. She tried spraying them out, and then we realized winter is a thing. And so how do you spray out totes when you can't go outside and it's -2 degrees? You don't.
Be a problem.
So we actually had to buy a propane heater for the garage, because then we realized, I don't know, you just like discover things.
Right. When you start, you don't know what you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But you figure it out.
Yep.
So you clean them out, you let them dry, and then they get stacked and stored until they go back out.
Yep.
You mentioned you have labels on them. Do you have anything to individually identify a tote, or is it just considered there's 20 totes there?
Yeah, we try to keep them all uniform. They just have the standard sticker on them. Nikki does have a set to the side, because we do have a real estate gifting program. And so those totes have one of those stick-on clear pouches where you can do a slide-in, like a 6x4, like printed slide-in. So we've got some totes set aside for that. So if it goes out on behalf of a real estate agent, we do a nice printout. It's like, this move is powered by so-and-so agent. It's got their picture and contact info, and so we can pseudo customize the totes for those use cases, but there's nothing as far as like labeling them. We just give people a dry erase marker, because there's a nice flat spot on the lids you can write on.
And that just comes off when you wipe them
right
down?
off. Yep.
Oh, very good. Have you had anyone write on them with a Sharpie, and is that a problem?
Not yet. Hopefully not. Hopefully not ever, but that's why we give them the dry erase marker.
So you provide a dry erase marker with them?
We bought a big box off Amazon, and like, please write on them with this.
That is an excellent idea, just to make sure they're writing with the right utensil. Do you provide anything else to them?
Not really, just a printout that kind of reiterates, please only use dry erase markers. We're really big on please only write on these with dry erase markers. But they can also stick some things to them, like Post-it notes, and we've seen certain kinds of tape, like painter's tape, will work fine.
Oh, yes.
So just general guidance, and if they have any questions, It's got all of our details on it, but that's about it. People have asked us like, should you upsell like packing materials and things? And I don't know, maybe one day, but I don't know. We haven't had a demand for it yet. And so I guess if somebody asks, we might start adding on other products.
That kind of leads me into my next question. We've talked about totes today. You all also rent RVs. What's maybe the most surprising thing someone's asked if you had?
I think it goes back to the dollies. Like when they asked us if we had 40, because they were just like, yeah, we'll take 40 dollies. Like it was just such a nonchalant. It wasn't like, how much would it cost? Or, like it was just like, we need 150 totes. We need 40 dollies. Like they knew that's what they needed. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot, but all right. And then I realized the why for company moves. A lot of times it's like each office gets a stack of totes and a dolly, or like in this case, it was a retail store and a warehouse, and they were staging stacks of totes with dollies around the entire, like to pack in. So
right.
Once I understood how company corporate moves work, I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense. This is a common thing.
Oh yeah. Now we talked about that first corporate rental from you. Do you get a lot of corporate rentals, or is it mainly people moving, or is it all aquariums?
Only one aquarium so far. We've had two company moves, and the rest have been residential moves. Yeah.
What percentage of your totes go out every weekend?
That's a good question. Right now we are at 61% utilization. So I'd say it's about half are utilized at all times right now. We're booked out into April with rentals through April.
Oh, very good. I hadn't even thought about people booking ahead of time. Is that something you find people book ahead of time, or they come and they're like, I need them by 9:00 today?
They don't plan ahead. I thought people would. Most of the time we can cover it. We have enough inventory. The people that are like moving apartments or something, they only need 20, 30 totes. They'll call like, hey, can you come tomorrow? Corporate moves are well ahead of time. They're weeks and weeks ahead. We ask all our real estate agents if they know, like, hey, if your client, if you know the closing date or the projected closing date, like try to let us know so we can try to make sure we have inventory for you. And they've been good about communicating that. Home sales are a more predictable timeline because it's like you're selling a house, there's a closing, you're buying a house.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of know with the window. It might move, but you kind of have an idea. So I guess it's a good mix of both.
Oh,
but we try to keep inventory. We try to keep our available, I guess, pad of inventory like 100 or so above at all times.
Have you, I know with the corporate rental, you didn't have that many totes. Do you get very many rentals when you need more totes? I know it's company policy, you go buy more. Has that had to happen too many times?
It's happened twice for us. One was the corporate rental, and then, yeah, we got a couple big, like 75 tote rentals back to back that we had to go get more while that one was out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is nice because we're fortunate that our supply house is an hour and a half away, and they always have like 1,000 totes at all times. So,
yeah. Well, David, I really appreciate it, but it's time we shift gears just a little bit to our famous 4 questions. Same 4 questions we ask all of our guests, and I say that with a little caveat today. I've changed them up from the first 3 episodes. Did those first 3 episodes, and I thought they'd be really good, and I thought, I think I can make them better. So we're doing a new set today, and this will be the pattern going forward as long as I like it.
Nice.
So our first question, what resources has helped you the most in learning or improving your rental business?
It's a good question. I think reaching out to other business owners directly and seeing what they're doing, just asking questions. So yeah, leaning on others to see lessons learned, try to get them to share, which is what we're doing ourselves. We're paying that forward with our community.
Yeah. I think that's so important, and it sounds so easy, but sometimes I find for myself, I just lower my head and dive in, and I probably should have asked someone something first. Our second question, if someone listening were to start a rental side hustle today or this year, what advice would you give them?
I would say try to research as best you can what the demand might be for your area. See if you have competitors in the space and try to sell it before you have it. Go ahead and put yourself out there, make that Facebook Marketplace post. If you really need good, strong validation, maybe buy a little bit of inventory if it's something small like totes, just to prove that like that there's a market for you, and then start and grow.
Yeah, excellent advice. Our third question, this is for the person that's not going to research it and just dive head first in. What could they buy this weekend to rent out this weekend?
Gosh. And that's such a good question. I don't know, because I've never looked into what could I rent out this weekend. I'm always like the long con is my thing. Like, what's the long play? What can I?
Right.
Because maybe it's totes. If since we're on the subject of tote rental businesses, maybe it's that, because some people have done that in the community that they would just went to Home Depot, bought 20 black totes with yellow lids and said, I rent out totes, and they've had customers. So maybe it's totes, but maybe not like the nice totes. Maybe buy cheap totes.
Oh yeah. Just something to get your foot in the door, get started. Yeah. And lastly, where can others find out more about you and what you're doing?
Yeah, you can find me on X at David Stillson. We also have a community, which I can send you a link to that, Cal.
Okay.
You could put it in the show notes for the tote rental business community. That'd be a great place, because we've had a lot of people reaching out that want to start tote rental businesses, and we're trying to like get everybody there.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. And we'll put those links in the show notes for sure.
Awesome.
Well, David, really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us today.
Appreciate being here. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate David coming on and sharing about his tote rentals. He also does RV rentals and is a self-described multipreneur with a love for starting businesses. I loved it. A few things I'm still thinking about. One, that bundle pricing so customers don't have to do math. Two, that idea that customers will shape your business for you if you put the offer out there. And thirdly, that line about donut ROI. He's not wrong. If you want to connect with David or learn more about starting your own tote rental business, he's got a community for that. And the links are in the show notes. If this episode sparked an idea for you, the best thing you can do right now is share it with someone else who's been thinking about starting a rental side hustle. That's how this show grows, one listener at a time. Also, leaving a review helps greatly. So wherever you're listening, give us a 5-star review. We'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the Rent It Out podcast. List it, rent it, repeat. I'll see you next episode.